Alright, update on Enjin coin. So I'm seeing two conflicting things going on with the higher time frames and the lower time frames right now. So let's jump into it and see what is going on in the lower time frames, then we'll hop over to the higher time frames. So as you can see right now on the 4 hour on Enjin coin, it looks like the bulls are starting to lose a tiny bit of momentum. We're not really seeing much volume stepping in, and these past 3-4 hourly candles have been very mundane in terms of the amount they were able to increase. I do think in the short term, Enjin could be having a local top before it does recover a little bit later on, and let me show you why. If we look at what's going on in the 4 hourly time frame right now, we fired a short over here at $1.77. We then proceeded to have a dump, and then we tried to hop above it. You can see we had a couple of 4 hourly closes. We came back and we really tried to hold the short-term moving average, which is this thicker red line you can see on the EMA ribbons. As you can see, we did not hold that, and we completely landslided after we took out the 4 hourly EMA ribbons, and we're currently doing something very similar where we've had a retest, we've had a dump, and now we are pumping back above the EMA ribbons, and we've come back into the short-term moving average. And as you can see, just like in this scenario over here, we are currently putting in that fight with the EMA ribbons. Now, if we look at what's happening with Bitcoin right now, you can see Bitcoin is having a slight crash. So Bitcoin might come down another couple of percent or so, and this might carry enough momentum for Enjin coin to have a small retracement in terms of what's going on in the short term. So I'm not bearish on Enjin coin. I do just think the short term is calling for potentially a move back down to our local 618 fib in terms of this local move that we've got from the low to high. And impulse, you can see that this is about a 4% decrease from where we are now. So what am I talking about at the start of the video when I said there's conflicting things? So like I said, 4 hourly time frame could be calling for a slight move back to the downside. And if we're just looking at the EMA ribbons on the daily, they would also be in agreement with that, because we recently came up today and had a very strong rejection from these daily EMA ribbons. Really not what you want to see. These have been bearish for a very long time now, and the last 3 times we flipped on these EMA ribbons, you can see we had 1 fake out, 2 fake outs and 3 fake outs, but the moves to the downside are rarely ever fake outs from what I can see looking at the previous charts that we have to go on for Enjin coin. So what does this mean? This means in the lower time frames we could move back down to our 618 fib. That could mean as low as between 144 and our 786 down here at literally 140, so really not too far to move down. But in the higher time frames, this is where the bulls are going to like this. We are having a daily momentum shift, and what happened the last time we had a shift move from a bearish stance to a bullish stance? So as you can see, we had a bearish stance flip in here, and as these candles started to turn dark red, that was indicative that the bears are losing momentum and the bulls are going to step in. You can see this switched in over here, and we actually proceeded to put in a fake out, made a higher low, and then we had a big rally from, you know, down here when this fired at $1.37, and we fired all the way up to $1.97. That was a nice increase. Let me make sure I'm getting it from the right candle. So from here to here, we had a 43% increase the last time we had this momentum shift. But bear in mind, we had a fake out in the short term, then we put in a new low, then we moved up. So what's happening since then? Well, as you can see, we've recently put in this momentum shift on the candles. So if we're going to do what we did before, you could see we could be setting up something like this. We could be having a fake out, making a higher low, and then bouncing. That would be indicative that we're going to follow our previous trend. And like I said, it doesn't matter if we bounce on the 618 fib or the 786 fib, but if we do bounce on one of those levels, you could see a W out in the higher time frame. So keep your eyes on 140 to be specific. I wouldn't like to see a move below 140. If we do start breaking below 140, then, you know, that would mean that in the general senses, we would be back below the heart line of this channel, and at which point, you know, you can normally see we have these phases where we're either on one side of the channel or the other. You can see previously we're at the bottom of the channel, and then we started to spend time at the top of the channel. Then we moved back down for a very long time into the lower channel. We got above it, we spent all this time at the top of the channel, and as you can see now, lower time frames, we're currently fighting with the heart line of that channel once again. We're getting bearish momentum stepping in. So in the lower time frames, it is calling for a move back down to potentially between 140 and 143. I wouldn't be banking on it, because on the higher time frames, you can see we've only just started putting in this momentum shift in terms of the bulls stepping in. So I would like to see something like this. This is personally what I think is most likely for us to come down a little bit more, W out, and then have a break, third time's the charm, out of the top of this descending channel that we are currently in. That is really what I want to see. We would have a breakout target of $1.75. You can see this would carry us up to the daily EMA ribbons up here at $2.15. That is really good. Or this is the 200-day moving average, rather, up here at $2.15. So I'm liking the setup that we're seeing right now. Nonetheless, in the lower time frames, we could potentially see a small move lower, especially if Bitcoin keeps on having this correction that we're putting in right now. That is all I see for Enjin coin. Macro bullish in my opinion, but the short term could have a slight move to the downside. That's all I've got for you. Once again, not financial advice. Cowboy out. Peace.